The Windhoek Showgrounds 2025, the heart of Namibia's biggest and most iconic event, is once again alive with energy, color and community. From bustling industrial exhibits to the sounds of livestock in the arena, this year's show brings together decades of tradition with exciting new innovations. As thousands gather to celebrate agriculture, business and Namibian pride, we take a closer look at what makes the 2025 edition so special. And to talk to us more as to what we can look forward to is Harald Schmidt, who is the Vice President and the Chief Executive Officer of the Windhoek Show Society. Now, just to correct you, the show happens at the Windhoek Showgrounds, but the show is called the Windhoek Agricultural and Livestock Show, right?
Correct.
Amazing. Good morning. How are you, Mr. Schmidt? Thank you so much for making time to join us in studio.
Yes, we are very excited. And of course, from the outset, I'm also very excited about the role that the broadcaster, the national broadcaster, plays. And this year, I think they've got very exciting plans that more services will be broadcast during this period. And yes, that is one of the differences that you bring to the party. And keeping, of course, then the listeners engaged for the 5-day period. You know, this is also a historic break from the traditional 9 days. That this year's show will be held over 5 days, commencing on Tuesday, the 30th of September, until Saturday, 4th October.
All right.
Yes.
Let's get into it. I mean, at the end of the day, NBC is ours, so we aim to please. First things first, perhaps let's just take you back to last year. How would you describe last year's Windhoek Agricultural and Livestock Show?
For 3 years, excuse me, for 3 years we made a concerted effort to really bring quality back. It's not about how many exhibitors, but it is about really showcasing what the essence is of the show, namely promoting livestock, promoting agriculture, and then, of course, bringing business on board, also involving the reality of our ethnic plurality and wealth, but pulling it all together into a unity that is very rich.
Yeah.
And, this getting to grow closer by promoting local products, by supporting local industries, and, of course, bringing now the drivers of these various elements, whether it's small business, SMEs, or government entities, state-owned enterprises, trade, commerce, finance. Ultimately, on this level, you find a commonality because of the approachability. For example, we have got here the ability to walk right into the stand of a ministry and share our aspects that we would love to take up with that either a regulatory authority or whatever it is. Now you can imagine in a ministry you have to go through so many lines of governance structures until you eventually come to the right address. Very often you must prepare something in writing, but here it is prompt, spontaneous, and I must say in this regard, if I may mention one in particular, NAMRA has played a significant role in engaging on so many aspects and leading by example, how a regulatory authority can truly become part and parcel of community everyday life by just being present.
Yeah, bringing the service closer to the people.
Yes.
Now, we've noticed the name has changed over the years. It had the word industrialization in it. And right now, it's just Windhoek Agricultural and Livestock Show. Talk to us about that transition.
It is, the industrial component never came to the fore because prior to independence, we did not have a strong industry drive. And post-independence, yes, we are trying very hard, but if we look at our economic data, we must accept that our imports of goods that are required here on consumption, on the consumption level, probably still in the area of 80% are still all imported.
Yeah.
So our industry base is more mining related at the moment, very exciting news coming out there or coming to the fore. But let's be realistic, to have a name with a powerful reference to industry, but not being able to actually reflect it in our show as such, became a misnomer.
Yeah.
And we rather than preferred, let's go back to our roots. And the roots, apparently the first show, or not apparently, we have got the evidence from historic data, was held in Windhoek in 1895.
1895.
Yes, and it was basically brought together by livestock and agriculture.
Hence the name, the Windhoek Agricultural and Livestock Show.
Yeah.
All right. You mentioned something earlier that stood out for me. You mentioned back then the show would be 9 days, but this time around it's strictly 5 days. Do we still get to see the fireworks?
That, of course, is one of the highlights, I believe, of the show in terms of entertainment.
Yes.
And let me maybe underline why the 5 days. We noticed that the private sector found it impossible to have a representation at the show for 9 days, because this requires basically a very, very informed individual, knows everything about the company, and usually that is either the CEO or, in bigger companies, you do have your middle management cadre, but in the smaller companies, it's impossible for your expertise to be represented. So we decided, let's give this a try. Based on the information that we received from the private sector, we cannot afford it to participate. And that also culminated in what became predominantly a public sector-driven event. Now we say at least 70% of our participants this year are public sector.
Yeah.
So that is also, what is different from what is different this year with compared to last year. It is a good representation of private sector entities. Yes, that basically underlines, already the significance of what we're celebrating. And we had to, but we could only do that by, again, creating a confidence in participants that the show has got a reliable platform of quality.
Yeah.
You cannot be all to everybody. And for very long after independence, we really tried, and it was with a lot of encouragement from the government as well, to showcase small and medium enterprises, many of whom were, of course, sponsored, but did not have the know-how to really perform at such a level. And I think for the last 3 years, particularly after COVID, we were given that chance. Well, how do we start with a new beginning after COVID? And that gave us a clean sheet, and we said, only quality.
Yeah.
And that then also filtered through to the private sector and said, now we are again willing to join and promote ourselves at this platform. And of course, it encourages, not only at the Windhoek Show platform, but it encourages also the private sector to participate at rural shows as well. And that's very important.
Yeah. 5 days, talk to us about some of the activities that will be taking place on each specific day, briefly perhaps.
Well, it starts off on the Livestock show, where we have over 800 animals, cattle, sheep, goats on display, but they are all basically taking part in a judging process.
800?
Yeah, over 800.
Okay, wow.
Over 800 animals. And the judging process applicable when one is focusing on breed, really breed cultivations. So the best genetics, of course, need to come to the fore, and the livestock section showcases now the genetic development over the period, but whether that genetic development is also what appeals to the market. You know, we had this period where a meat must be very lean. And that basically also is reflected in the live animal. But that basically is now also the reason, you know, why specific breeds are now only showcasing at the show, because that is ultimately what is fed into the commercial farming entity.
Yeah.
So there will be huge activity from the morning early till each night. And for the first time also, over the 5 days, the agricultural or the livestock section completes its program in the same period as the commercial entity does. What are highlights? Well, let's first, before we forget, the fireworks. The fireworks has always been on a Thursday, and we kept it that way.
Okay.
That is why the show only ends on a Saturday. So Thursday evening, very, very punctually 8 o'clock or 2000 hours, because you know, there is so much protocol involved and safety and security aspects. We are only given a 15-minute slot where the fireworks can be held. If it does not happen within that proclaimed time, because I mean we are penetrating airspace, particularly when flying towards our Windhoek aerodrome. So these are elements that must be kept in mind. The showgrounds, then the fireworks, then of course the daily fun park. But the fun park, we made an exception. Because they come to Namibia with a huge convoy, we allow them to go over the 9-day period. So they are in operation 4 days earlier already, starting on Saturday the 26th. Friday the 26th, actually. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday, everybody else now joins in. But just to give Windhoekers and particular families the opportunity to have a longer period of selection when to take the whole family and enjoy the rides.
Amazing.
Yeah. Then, of course, we've got adjudication of the judging process of the stands. That must happen very quickly now and must be completed by Friday, where the announcement will be made on who are the various winners in their different categories. And of course, then the trophies and accolades will be handed over, and that is done by an in-house. Now, this is not for the public, but in-house a breakfast event, and that always has got a tremendous meaning, particularly for those who are then rewarded by their hard work in creating a very meaningful stand.
All right. So how much are the tickets going for this year?
We remained at the same price as the last 5 years.
Okay.
$50 for adults and $30 for school-going children. And then adulthood starts basically from 18, so it's 19 years onwards.
All right. And it's free for pensioners?
Oh, yes. And then, of course, yes, so thank you for that. Free for pensioners. And of course, minors, children younger than 6 years, definitely come in free of charge.
Yeah, I'm going to give you this opportunity, Mr. Schmidt, just
May
to...
I just say when the opening time of the gate, maybe that's maybe important.
Of course.
Every day for this 5-day period, the gates open for the public, 10 o'clock in the morning, and close at 9 o'clock, 2100 hours for the public, because we want to close the event at 10 o'clock p.m.
Does that also speak to the extra 4 days before the show for the fun park?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So this is your platform to invite all our viewers this morning to come and have fun and celebrate, and also just check out the Windhoek Agricultural and Livestock Show. What is your message to our viewers this morning?
Well, we would really encourage you to come because it definitely, from the layout and from the composition, it is exciting. We also have a Zimbabwean trade delegation, very big, very interesting, and you know, not only local but also Ghanaian fashions, etc. So I would encourage everybody to make use of this period of our Windhoek show and come and have an outing, because we always compete with a number of events nowadays. You know, a month end is always the event month period. And but we would like to appeal to Windhoekers and, of course, people who are in Windhoek over this period to come and visit our show.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Schmidt, and all the best with this year's Windhoek Agricultural and Livestock Show. Thank you so much for joining us in studio.
Thank you.
All right.